Thank you to Water Wheel Little Horse for their generous donation on Patreon.
The afternoon sun hung low in the horizon as Maeve and Artemy finished up their rounds through the neighborhood. Most of the injured were taken care of and were eager to go home and escape Artemy's zappy healing spells. The night felt rather useless. Maeve did most of the work healing the injured, directing the recovery efforts and comforting the small folk. The small folk. All Artemy could do was stand stiffly by her side. Maeve reassured her that the mere presence of the Creator's Chosen was comforting to the people, but it didn't make her feel any more helpful.
I haven't really been pulling my weight, have I? Even the other knights are looking at me funny.
Maeve looked up at her, musing with a snort.
I believe they are more intrigued by our little partnership than anything else. A holy knight and an exterior druid working together. Our ancestors would be laughing themselves unto a second death.
Artemy frowned, confused.
Whatever do you mean?
Maeve stared at her for several long moments as though checking to see if she was serious. Oh, for God's sake! Get out of here, you fuck!
I don't suppose they teach you of our history in the cathedral these days.
Fucking hell!
Shouldn't be surprised. To the victor go the spoils.
More confusion swam through Artemy's head, but not enough to distract her from the noticing familiar figure's approach. She whipped around with an indignant scowl. Holy hell!
Not this time, you little thief!
Ow, 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 ow! It frickin' stings, you little...
Before the urchin could make another hasty escape, Artemy grasped him by the wrist with a furious glare.
I shan't be tricked again! You will come with me and answer my questions, thief!
Oh, bugger off, you fucking knob! I ain't got nothing for ya!
The urchin writhed furiously, but Artemy's grip was unmovable. She hoisted him up and shook him by the collar.
When you mugged me a few days ago, how did you know I would be carrying such a valuable package? Did anyone coerce you into this job?
Emil scowled and crossed his arms stubbornly.
I'd rather get thrown back behind bars than up a prissing knight.
Pissy night.
I ain't telling you shit.
Oh, you little...
Maeve ducked her head behind the little squabble curiously.
What is this package you're talking about? This boy! He's the one who stole the...
Why are you saying this?
He's the one that stole the crown and rubies I was tasked to deliver to the prince.
Hey, you can't prove anything. I'm being framed, I tell ya.
Maeve stared at the urchin curiously.
Oh, I thought I recognized you. Emil, was it? You're quite infamous around here. The list of complaints and petty crime reports in your name is enough to fill a novel. Quite the talented thief, this one.
Urchin grinned proudly.
What can I say? I'm bloody good at what I do.
I'll take that as a confession, then. We best hand him off to the city watch. Perhaps he'll feel more cooperative if once his parents come to pick him up.
Are you daft? I ain't got no parents.
Artemy blinked.
Oh. Well, perhaps one of the church's orphanages will have a good place for him.
Emil burst out laughing with a sneer.
I've escaped both prison and those little hellholes for kids before, and I'll do it again. You think catching me is doing either of us any favors? Fuck off, mate. You best just let me go.
Artemy felt at a loss for words. Didn't feel right to just release him without answers, but it didn't sit well to just throw a child in prison either. Maeve suddenly placed a gentle hand on her shoulder with a pointed look.
Gautier, why don't you put the boy down?
Both Artemy and the urchin blinked at her with surprise.
Huh? Well, as you wish.
Emil eyed Maeve warily as he was dropped back onto his feet.
What angle are you trying at, mate?
None whatsoever. You may leave.
The urchin squinted.
What? I'm free to go? Just like that?
Maeve kneeled down and faced the boy at eye level.
I've seen your record, young man. You've stolen a wealth of goods and valuables, and yet you're still on the street in rags. You've been caught and arrested many times, but always escape. There's a simple explanation there. You are being taken care of in exchange for your work. Not very well, but taken care of nonetheless. By the Thieves' Guild, perhaps?
The urchin grinned and puffed his chest out proudly.
Well, I ain't afraid to admit it. I'm one of the best. And they take care of me better than that orphanage or the shit city ever has.
Maeve nodded patiently.
Indeed. You are a talented thief. Always managing to trick people with your youthful charm. The Thieves' Guild is lucky to have you.
Her eyes narrowed.
Tell me, young man, what do you plan to do once you're older?
Emil looked taken aback.
What are you on about?
It's a simple question. What is your plan once you've outgrown your usefulness at the Thieves' Guild?
The urchin faltered for a bit, but growled stubbornly.
Hey, don't you go putting words in their mouth. The guild ain't never gonna just leave me hanging.
Maeve was silent. She gently reached out and grasped the boy's hand. Her thumb brushed over his bony wrist, her eyes drifting across his thin, malnourished figure.
Yes, I can see how they care for you. However, in the future, if you ever find yourself in need of a friend, House Osmia would be glad to have a man of your talents. Find one of our stands in the market district and tell them you are a friend of Maeve's. My doors are always welcome to you. A mix of suspicion and utter bewilderment swam across Emil's face.
Why would a fancy pants noble ever want to help a nobody like me? What's a catch, lady?
Maeve simply smiled underneath her veil. Friends help friends. That's just how the world works, young man. She got up and turned to leave, beckoning for Artemy to follow her. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to help my knight friend here figure out who was behind her jewelry mugging. Good day to you. Come along, Gautier. Right away, my lady. Emil was left gaping and stunned as the two left without another word.
Well, who the fuck would have guessed you would have made that character have a goddamn emotion? You fuck. God damn it. Well, you're right. You're absolutely right. You know, people think that thievery just sort of happens, you know? It's financial hardship. It's cultural disenfranchisement. It's way more complex than just person wants thing, I'ma take that thing. You know, it's way more complicated than that. And to simplify it down to good people and bad people, it's... yeah. Good job, man. They walked for a small distance, with Artemy glancing back at the boy in bewilderment.
You're really just gonna let him go? We didn't even get any of the answers we were looking for.
Maeve peered at her tiredly.
My dear Gautier, I say this with the utmost respect. Has anyone told you that you've got the social awareness of a brick? Not everyone will be coaxed into aiding you through threats and closed fists.
Hey, wait up!
Oh shit. As if on cue, Emil caught up with them with a sheepish pout. The urchin glanced around the street cautiously before leaning in close.
Okay, you didn't hear this from me, but the day before I ran into Nighty here,
Emil jerked his head towards Artemy.
a guy came up to me and told me that the Lady Knight was going to come out of the church district with an easy score. He told me that I'd make mad money if I stole a package and took it to the black market at Rotten Red's. He even paid me like 10 gold to go through with it. I was psyched. The whole thing smelled fishy. Yeah, I usually had to pay for good tips like this.
Artemy stared at the urchin in surprise while Maeve tried her best to hide her "I told you so" look behind her face veil.
We appreciate your help. Could you describe the man you spoke with?
Emil scratched his head.
Well, he was this youngish guy. Looked a little older than you two. He was this bright
Blue peacock. Wait a minute. Artemy and Maeve exchanged glances. The only peacocks in Axia are the royal family. Well, we've already seen that people can body double, so that really doesn't prove shit. But that would be a hell of a twist. But also, they don't have the social awareness to do that properly. That's a frame. They're being framing the fucking prince. I mean, the prince could totally be acting though. Jesus. Okay, so it could be the prince, or it could be someone framing the prince. So the prince could be actually this bumbling fool, or the prince could be acting like a bumbling fool in public, but could be actually doing this whole shit. I don't know. Either way, if you're going to appear in public as the only of a species, there's no way. That's just a dumb fucking move. Because there's no way to be inconspicuous as a person of a species that is the only, like, there's only them. There's only peacocks. So you immediately show up as that, your cover is blown. Like, instantly. You cannot blend in. You're instantly fucked. Unless they were wearing a cloak. A cloaked figure, perhaps. And then they just didn't take off the cloak all the way, and they just sort of showed their face. I don't know. Crazy. But if they were uncloaked, like, that's just gaping hole. They'd have to be a cloaked figure. You know what I'm saying? They'd have to be a cloaked figure.
The only peacocks in Axia are the royal family. And the only one who's left is... Prince Cassius? That can't be right! This means that the prince had sent me on a mission to deliver his rubied crown, and then paid this boy to intercept it and sell it on the black market.
Okay, I thought it was the prince at first too, but that can't be right, can't it? Can it? I saw him at the festival today. That guy was so nervous he couldn't even walk straight. But the guy who gave me the step, he was almost kind of scary. Real cold and stern, like he was. I almost didn't recognize him because of how different they were.
Emil cleared his throat and sheepishly stuffed his hands in his pockets.
Anyways, that's all the darn info I got for you.
Maeve smiled.
We thank you for your cooperation, Emil. Here, 10 gold pieces for your troubles.
The urchin shook his head with a mischievous grin.
Nah, keep it. Ain't no money worth a noble owing you a favor, huh? I'll be seeing you around, friend.
With that, Emil ran off down the street and out of sight. Maeve chuckled as she watched him go.
That one learns fast, doesn't he? I'm more impressed by your negotiation skills, my lady. You convinced him to disclose his secrets without threatening him or anything. Not all tools need sharp edges, Gautier. More importantly, I am worried about what this means.
Maeve's eyes narrowed as she processed this new information.
I can only conclude that the prince did not want the rubies to arrive at the royal palace after all. At all. His goal was to scatter the rubies to the people in the underground black market.
But that's the thing. The people in the black market, the stuff in the black market doesn't stay in the black market. The only people who could afford it were, if we remember what Clyde said, were rich noble types. So he wasn't spreading it to the black market, he was spreading it probably to political allies. And as we know, the rubies aren't rubies. They're demons. He's spreading demons around. And also, we don't even know if it was really the prince. Could have been a body double.
If he hired a lowly urchin to do this, it must mean he wasn't too picky about who got their hands on them. She clicked her tongue thoughtfully. And shortly afterwards, a demon shows up in Axia. Gautier, do you have any inklings as to where the rubies are? Well, the cloaked mage stole 2 of the rubies during our encounter at the fighting ring. As for the other 2, one was immediately purchased by an anonymous buyer. The last one disappeared at the market without notice.
Oh, God! Well, that's fucking snake. That's the snake. Maeve's brow furrowed.
If this cloaked mage already has 2 of the rubies, why send a demon to attack your friend? Unless...
Your friend has the other one. The Druid's eyes narrowed.
Tell me, Gautier, how trustworthy is this Collody Bonebreaker?
Artemis' face faltered.
He is my friend! Though he may be infamous for his underhanded schemes, I have faith that he has good intentions at heart.
Oh no. This is gonna be bad, man. This is gonna be bad, man.
Oh, this is gonna be bad, man.
She already doesn't really trust him. You can tell because she took the Sur away and because of the fucking fighting ring shit. And this...
Oh my god. This is gonna be bad. She's sticking up for him right now.
He would never do something that could jeopardize this mission. Ah, God! He's hiding Snaky Snake!
He would never do something that could jeopardize this mission. Fuck.
Even as she spoke, Artemis cursed herself for the doubt plaguing her voice. She's gonna get that confirmed. Oh, man. Maeve did not look convinced either, but did not speak on it. Oh, God, this hurts.
Then I will trust in your judgment for now. Moving forward, I think our next course of action should be to investigate our nervous little prince. What? I could never be so bold as to accuse His Highness of wrongdoing. There is no accusation. Your mission is on His Highness's behalf, is it not? Then it is more than reasonable to request an audience for information.
Maeve smiled.
And given that House Osmia is aiding in your search, I hope you have the courtesy to include me in your meeting with Prince Cassius. Of course. Then matters are settled for now. It is time for us to depart. I look forward to speaking with you again alongside His Highness.
The noble bowed and quietly dismissed herself. Artemy was left alone in the street, suddenly feeling very cold and lost. Damn.